Chest compression only CPR. The majority of the information from these slides is courtesy of the University of Arizona and their Health Science Department. Virginia Department of Education standards are listed below. You can see how CPR fits into the state curriculum. The objective for this lesson: students will be able to recognize, respond appropriately to cardiac, breathing, and first aid emergencies, to know to give immediate care to suddenly injured or ill person until more advanced medical personnel arrive and take over. On this slide, you can see that there are people of all ages that suffer from cardiac issues. You have teenagers as well as people in their 30s and 40s, some that were lucky enough to have a paramedic nearby, others that were lucky enough to have people that were trained in CPR that were able to save them. This slide shows the prevalence of cardiac issues in America. This is a list of fact versus fiction in regards to cardiac issues. There's a belief in stereotypes that males, older people, overweight people, smokers, people with high cholesterol, people who have had previous heart attacks, or people that are presently have chest pains or dizziness are more susceptible to cardiac issues, but in reality, this is not true. The difference between a cardiac arrest and a heart attack is, in a heart attack, there is a blockage in the heart and the person remains conscious typically, whereas with cardiac arrest, the heart stops and the person loses consciousness. There's two main types of cardiac arrest. There's primary and secondary. With primary cardiac arrest, the heart stops pumping, but the blood in the arteries is full of oxygen. In secondary cardiac arrest, the heart stops pumping due to a lack of oxygen. This is typically found with drowning, drug overdose, or choking. With adults, about 70 to 80% of cardiac arrest are of the primary cardiac arrest form, and chest compression only CPR has been shown to be effective in these cases. So what is chest compression only CPR? It is CPR where you are doing the chest compressions only and not giving the rescue breaths. The rescue breaths aren't necessary because the blood has oxygen in it, and the compressions is circulating the blood throughout the body into the brain. Why might giving the breaths be harmful? Because you're stopping the circulation when you're stopping the compressions. The graphic below shows blood flowing to the brain during compression-only CPR versus your more traditional 30 compressions to 2 breaths. During those 2 breaths, the blood's not circulating, and therefore it's not getting to the brain with oxygen. Again, compression-only CPR saves lives. It's much better than doing nothing, and it's also can be better than your more traditional form of CPR. Things that stop people from doing CPR are the fears of being mouth-to-mouth with somebody they don't know, legal consequences, maybe not knowing how to do it properly. There are masks for CPR. There's a Good Samaritan law which prevents you from legal action if you start performing CPR. And it's easy to do, especially once you're trained. So chest compression only CPR is for somebody who unexpectedly collapsed and is unresponsive. Your traditional CPR, again, is going to be for drowning, choking, drug overdose victims, or children less than 8. The 3 C's of CPR: you check, call, and compress. You shake and shout the person to see if you can get them to be responsive. If not, you call 911. You ask somebody to call 911, and you also ask them to look for an AED if there's one available, and you start the chest compressions of around anywhere between 100 to 120 compressions per minute. Here's your steps for the chest compressions. There's a video at the end which will demonstrate this. You're looking for about 100 to 120 compressions a minute, going about 2 inches deep in the person's chest. Gasping is a sign of cardiac arrest. Don't stop if they're gasping. You're looking for lively breaths. When you ask somebody to go look for an AED, this is the type of device you're looking for. The nice thing about an AED is once you turn it on, they take you through step by step exactly what you're supposed to be doing with it. Here you can see the pads that are on the AED, and you can also see the little stickers that are on them which show you exactly where each pad needs to be placed. And once turned on, the AED will take you through step by step how to use it. These are signs that you'll see around businesses that show you where AEDs are stored. If If you have an AED and while you're doing CPR, again, you're gonna check for consciousness. Again, send someone to call for 911 and look for the AED. You start your compressions. Once the AED arrives, you're gonna attach it to the individual and start it. Here's a link for the Red Cross. They have classes all over the country where you can be trained in CPR. Here are the references for this slideshow. Again, the University of Arizona is where the majority of the data came from. The Virginia Department of Education is where the first state standards that were listed were from.
If you're ever in a position where you find yourself where somebody's collapsed in front of you, these are the steps that you'll perform for hands-only compression CPR. First step is to check your surrounding and make sure you're in a safe place. After checking the area and making sure it's clear, the next step is to check for responsiveness from the individual. You're going to do this by tapping on their shoulder and asking them if they're okay. You alright? You okay? After not getting a response, the next step is to look, listen, and feel. This should take approximately 5 seconds. You're going to put your ear to their mouth to listen for breaths while looking down their chest and looking for the rise and fall of their chest as they breathe. And while you're doing this, you're also going to check for a pulse in their neck. After completing this step, it's important to point somebody out and specifically ask them to call 911. Call 911. And as they're doing this, they should also be looking for an AED if you're in a place that has them available. The next step then is to start chest compressions. As you do chest compressions, you should be aiming for anywhere between 100 to 120 compressions a second and going about 2 inches deep in the individual's chest. You start this by putting the butt of the palm of your hand in the middle of their chest, starting with your dominant hand. Then interlock your other hand on top of that, and you start your compressions. It's important when doing these compressions that you allow the individual's chest to rise as you're pushing down. You won't stop these compressions until the person either starts having lively breaths on their own, somebody arrives with an AED, or a trained individual relieves you from helping the person.